love y'all
What's
deeply,
happening, family?
and I love y'all forever. And I'm
Good
unapologetic about
evening.
that love. People are like, yo,
Good evening. Good
oh,
evening.
we're gonna do this right now for the black women. We're like, we're gonna do it for all women.
Trying to make sure everything's dialed in. If you can hear me, please put a thumbs up in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight I'm gonna be doing something a little different. Recently I've been going live on Instagram. I'm gonna try to go live on Facebook at the same time. So y'all bear with me if there are any technical difficulties. But in exchange for your patience, I promise this is gonna be a fantastic conversation because we're joined by a fantastic brother, Mr. DJ Hamp the Stamp. Um, we got a lot to discuss. We got a lot to talk about. But before I bring the good brother up, if you could please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are not a regular viewer. Um, like I said before, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. I used to do lives more often. Trying to get back more consistent. So you guys support me, help me out in that journey. Like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. But yeah, a lot of things have been going on in the world today. We got the Aisha Curry situation currently in the zeitgeist. We got the Shador Sanders situation. We got the normal male female drama that we're all kind of collectively growing tired of. So me and the good brother, we're gonna dissect some things, break some things down. And as a matter of fact, he actually inspired this conversation. I'm gonna explain why in a second. But without further ado, Mr. Doctor Chief. Chief. DJ Hampton Stan, welcome, brother.
Yo, what's popping, man?
Man, I'm chilling, man.
Good,
How
man.
you doing?
I'm excited, bro. You know what I mean?
Likewise, man. Likewise. Shoot,
Word
I
is
got I
born.
got notes. I got notes lined up. I got videos lined up, man. We got a
Uh-huh.
lot to discuss, man.
I see the
But how are you,
preparation.
man? How you been?
I'm doing the right thing, man. Just
Sir.
grinding. You heard?
Yes, sir.
Since the last time we collabed, man, I share that story often. I don't know if I ever said it publicly. You know what I'm saying? But so we did the collab and all that. You know what I'm saying? I make sure everybody get what they supposed to get. And
Yeah.
instantly, once the stream is over, you sent it back. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Yo, so y'all remember I was doing the well, I don't know if they remember, but I used to do a bunch of interviews. So I
Mm.
interviewed Alan one time, back and forth. We had a panel and all that, and he sent me the bread back and said we got work to do.
Oh yeah. Man, I forgot about that. I
Yeah,
was like, send it back. What I say back?
yeah. I see you was stuck. I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
let me just
yeah,
say
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
he sent the bread back, said we got work to do. I said, yo, see,
For
that's why I
sure.
love this. You know what I
For
mean?
sure,
Like,
man. For sure.
so I'm just blessed, man. Highly favored. All praises to the Most High, bro. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all we could do, man. Especially as black men, bro. We gotta stick together. We gotta work. And I've been talking about this for a while, but like I think especially after I collaborated with Dr. Tiasan Johnson
Mm-hmm.
and I saw like the political side of things as far as this conversation, because I feel like a lot of people dumb it down to just like, oh, it's these dudes who don't get no hoes, and it's these women who are bitter or whatever the case may be. But like, it's a lot of real things behind the the anger on both sides, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the only way that this gets corrected, in my opinion, is like black men for maybe the first time in American history, we have to own our own narrative. We have to own our own voice. And people might think, oh, what we're doing on YouTube is just entertainment, but I think it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I admire what you do as well, man.
Word is born, man. I think that the conversation is indeed substantive, you know? I think it gets overrun by the hyperbole, you know?
Yeah.
And there's very little acknowledgement of things that also just make sense because it's two sexes, two species trying to come together, you know? So,
Facts. Yeah. Fact. And I mean, we've been talking about like the reality is, is as much as we might be critical of women or, men might be critical of men, we never actually like we were never taught about each other, right? Like men, for the most part, I feel like we're just taught about how to buy a woman's affection. So by our
Mhm.
actions, by our, our money, our status, whatever the case may be, but not really to understand women. And
Mhm.
vice versa. Women are just taught, I look good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And other men want me, you know what I'm saying? And I got pussy and I got titties and I got that, and that's enough.
Yeah.
But like when you get on the other side of things, when I think especially today, like pussy isn't hard to come by, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's thick.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine. Now you actually have to understand who you're talking to. You have to bring more value, and that's the table conversation. You got to bring
Yeah.
more value than just your looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Indeed. I think they don't understand what the dilution of the value of vagina did to them.
Mm,
And I'm saying
mm.
to them, right? They
Ah,
think it's plentiful, right? It's become a commodity, right?
mhm.
Toothpaste is a commodity, right, Alan? So I like Crest, you heard?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not going across town to get Crest. I'll just get the total and get the Crest next time, right? So
Mm.
there's a
Mm.
favorite, but I'll replace it in an instance. And
That's
that's what
true.
vagina is now, you heard?
That's true. That's true. Listen, man. Before we get too deep, man. Before we get too deep, I can see the wheels turning already, man.
Yeah, man.
Um. So I got just a few, what I'm saying, like icebreakers, a few like, current events that are
Word.
unrelated to the conversation we're really going to dive into. But the first one, Shador Sanders. You know what I'm saying? As a former athlete, I was a former athlete. What are your thoughts on what's going on? I've been following it closely because I got like multiple thoughts. Like, what are your thoughts on what's going on, just
I,
generally?
I think he's overall a good talent, right? I give him a
Yeah.
6, a 7, you know? I think he's intelligent. I think the flashiness hurts him because there's still a stereotype regarding a quarterback, you
Yeah.
know? So they would get on Lamar about the tattoos and the hair, but at least Lamar is overall pretty stoic. He don't talk too much. He don't do too much, you know? So that works against Shador, his father, right? There's just a bunch of dynamics, right? I would say
Mhm.
60% of them which he can control, but there's a whole lot of shit working against him. He's
Yeah.
better than Dylan Gabriel, right? I don't understand it for the life of me. You know,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
pops out on screen, and so there's so many things working against him, and it's disheartening because it's not even about football. You know,
That's a
so
fact. That's a fact. Matter of fact, this is what I think, man. And I was actually thinking about this earlier today.
hmm,
I don't know if you remember. This had to be the 2010 draft, either 2010, 2011. It was
hmm,
a couple years ago.
hmm,
But it was a quarterback coming out of, I want to say Alabama, but don't quote me.
okay,
And I was listening to some analysts talk about him, and like this particular kid, he hadn't lost since high school.
yeah,
His tenure at Alabama was successful.
hmm,
Um, but like uh, between college and getting drafted, you have to take the Wonderlic, that
yeah,
Wonderlic test.
yep.
The analysts were saying he scored too high, and it
Was it
was going to
McCarron?
hurt. I think so.
Yeah, I
They
think
said he scored too high, and it was going to hurt his draft stock. And I
how.
was like, wait, make that make sense. So I was listening to some people talk about it, and they said, well, it's good to be smart, especially as a quarterback, but the way that football is compared to other sports is really like a gladiatorial warrior based type of sport, right?
Okay,
So if you are a player in the sport who feels intellectually superior to the coach, you are harder to coach. So I say that to say, counterintuitively, you would think, oh, you want a smart quarterback, whatever the case may be. But like when you apply it to this particular sport, particularly how like the NFL is set up, is
uh-huh.
actually looked at as a negative. Now think about Shador. Shador is coming into the league being the highest paid college athlete of all time,
Of all time.
and not having the flash of his father, not having the flash of like a Cam Newton or like the 6'5" run a 4.4
Yeah,
type of thing. So I feel like what I'm starting to realize, I feel like it probably rubbed people the wrong way. And despite the fact that he is talented and that he is more talented than a Dylan Gabriel, given the fact that, they say NFL is not for long, the average NFL career is what, 4
3 and a
years,
half,
3
3 years.
years.
Yeah,
they're thinking about it like in and out. They're not thinking about it like, you know what I'm saying, he's a good player. They think about you just another one. You're
Yeah.
just another one in the meat grinder. So
Yeah.
from that perspective, I think I started understanding what's happening to Shador. And then I think we can't overlook the race element. He's a black
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still, I was a black quarterback. It's still, you know what I'm
He's still a
saying?
black quarterback.
You see what I'm saying? And then you flashy, and then you this, and then you
Mhm.
that. I think that's really what's going on. So I think he's gonna remain number 3, unfortunately, for a while.
Yo, if they keep him at number 3, bro, I mean, that's a travesty. It's a true slap in the face. Now, one thing if I'm just trying to understand it, right, and remove my feelings, I've never seen a rookie back up a rookie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's almost like you want someone who's a little bit more seasoned to play that backup role, right?
Yeah.
And those 2 rookies are in contention because I'm sure he thinks he's better. The older guys, they know they just a filler,
Yeah.
So I could see them trying to quell that dynamic. However, the pros don't outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that was AJ McCarron, and I can see a quarterback, they have to process quickly, right?
Mm.
Over processing can be an issue, right? Like people who over plan really are procrastinators. Man. They call it planning. Yeah, so I could see that. McCarron also ain't had the physical gifts, right? They could have just stayed at that, you know what I mean? But
right. And I mean, you could say the same thing about Shador.
Yeah,
you could. Like if we really wanted to start picking him apart, because again, like the NFL is the most lucrative league on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And for them, they're looking for, like, think about what they did to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, they were trying to switch him to wide receiver. They didn't give a damn.
Yeah,
that he was a Heisman Trophy winner. They were what's his name? Even Josh Allen, that everybody's kind of up his ass now.
Yeah,
he had to write letters to D1 universities, and they didn't even let him in.
No, yeah.
See what I'm saying? So they don't. But when you think, like I said, when you think about it, since football is the closest thing to like modern warfare, you know what I'm saying? Just on a simulation standpoint, I get it. I get why you want soldiers. You don't want chiefs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want people just, yes, sir, yes, coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's counterintuitive, but
it's
I think that's
but when you put it like that, it's imperative, right?
Yeah.
Because when I played strong safety, outside linebacker, right? That was like 40 pounds ago.
Same.
Alignment, assignment, then you play football.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be in the right place. And then you have to do your responsibility, and then you go play football, right? Mm-hmm. People that go rogue, overthink it, they the chief, right? Now they leave other people out to dry because they don't do their alignment. They don't align correctly, and they don't do their assignment before they start playing football. So it makes sense. It's crazy, but when you breaking it down,
when you start breaking it down, yeah. And I mean, think about even fighters, man.
Yeah,
like it's hard, and I think about this often. It's hard to be hungry when you fed. It's hard. It's hard to be a millionaire with a chip on your shoulder. It's not an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Unless you're just like somebody like a John Jones. He's not mentally. He's not mentally there.
He ain't real right.
You see what I'm saying? But like people complain about, Conor McGregor, he ain't got it in him no more. He ain't got the dog in him no more. Mm-hmm. The dog went to sleep, man. He got to the mountain. He got to where he's trying to go. So even as fans, we don't like people who feel like they're bigger than the program.
Yeah. Nah, real shit. And even when they have the hunger or the will to win, we deny it, right? Yeah. They like, ain't no way Floyd Mayweather lead a casino and jog home. Why?
Yeah.
He won 50 fights. Yeah. If you watch it, Floyd used to stand and bang, but people don't give him no type of credit, right? Because he got too much money. Why would he why is he that dedicated now? So we do the same shit. It's crazy.
You know it's funny. Funny. Like we talk about when we're talking about, women's dysfunction, we talk about the wall. Mm-hmm. We talk about, how, at some point you won't be valuable no more, or you'll be used up, whatever the case may be. I think we forget that the most accurate parallel for women are athletes. Athletes are at the top of their value when they're young. It's all about, what have you done for me lately? Mm-hmm. It's all about, how can you make me look, right? As a coach, as a program, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And unfortunately, I feel like, just like you talked about Floyd, at some point he got to the point where it's like, man, fuck y'all. I'm gonna do what I need to do to like set myself up for success, whatever that means. Y'all could call me, punk or pussy, whatever. I'm dodging fights, whatever the case may be. But you know what I'm saying, I'm prioritizing pay. And I think unfortunately, like as we critique women, part of what we miss sometimes is because we so commodified women and we so like relegated them to just their physical attributes and their physical contribution. I think a lot of this is that backlash. A lot of their attitude and their posture right now is that backlash.
Well, shit. You know why? The key reason why is because what they realized is their physical prowess or whatever word proper trumps their attitude. The prettier she is, men already admitted her attitude could be worse. So see, it's a level of enabling of this shit too.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
We allow them to act a certain way because she got a fatty.
Yeah.
Right. And they know that now. Right. Everything they know, we showed them.
Yeah.
The shit that they insult us about, they heard men insult each other first. They ain't come up with this shit. I said this on my stream a couple weeks ago. Women don't have this elevated level of intuition. They just diligent, right? If she check your phone every day, that ain't intuition. She consistent.
Yeah.
Right. She didn't have no spider sense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but they perceive these things and then leverage them.
No, that's real. That's real. I mean, that actually leads me to you did a stream called Game. The Game is the Game.
Word.
And that's honestly, that was what inspired this idea for this collaboration. How would you like summarize that stream? Number one, like what? Because it was certain parts I was watching. It was like, man, he's frustrated. Like something happened, or he saw some, or he continued to hear certain things from his guests. Like what's the background of that conversation, and where did it go?
We as men, particularly, right? Pointing the finger ever did what for who? You know, that grinds my gears or scuffs my Timbs, you know? Like I just see it and it's not working, right? So men now understand the nature of women more. So we think. So what now, right? We continue to enable the behavior. And you go outside, you court, date women, etc. The game is the game. There's always adjustments. The game always updates. But at the end of the day, football is still football. Boxing is still boxing, but you have different styles that come out that are more defensive, right? But you still have fighters that stand on the front foot and come forward, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still pugilism. But there's always updates, right? The 3-pointer, when did it come to be what it is now? What, 15 years ago? Maybe 20 years ago, if that, right? But people are still playing basketball. So everything else we update, right? But now the environment is different, and now men have retracted to almost giving up and let women control narrative.
Pause 1 second, brother. The stream's breaking up a little bit. Hold on. Let me see. All right, we good. Go ahead, man.
So I just was like, just thinking through it, right? I never when they started updating the rules in football, right? I was taught to spear as a kid. Oh shit, you can't spear no more. Now you hit with your face mask. Oh, they calling head-to-head contact. Now you got to get your head out and use your shoulders, right? Yeah. I ain't stopped playing football, right? But the men who couldn't adjust, right, that loved it, they got washed out. But now we're trying to justify getting washed out, when we talking about dating and courting and all that. So it just grinds my gears, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like even the way that I formatted this particular stream, like for me, I like to focus on the men. You know what I'm saying? I like to focus on how can we adjust ourselves, to your point, to the world as it is, not as it should be. Right? Like one of my favorite, especially since I became a father, I really deep down believe that a man's role in a child's life is to teach him how to survive, teach him or her how to survive. So it's very process oriented, it's very discipline oriented. Whereas I think a woman's role is to teach why to survive. So it's about happiness, it's about love, it's about comfort, etc. And I think You know what I'm saying? Like this particular generation, we are over mothered and under fathered,
Mhm.
right? So like a lot of us, we seek comfort. A lot of us, we seek ease. A lot of us, we seek happiness, but we don't seek purpose. And we're taking, unfortunately, I think we're taking um, a lot of our cues from women. Even some of the slang you hear certain men start saying now is really women slang. Like clock that and T. And I heard dudes talking about sassy, this, and that. And unfortunately, I think because we're so out of alignment, I think that's why you're hearing some of these like just complaining for the sake of complaining.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing me and you've been aligned on. It's like, okay, this is what it is. This is who women are. This is the
Mhm.
new game. How do you upgrade? How do you adjust your approach to be more effective based on the outcomes you want, or how can you adjust your outcomes
Yeah.
to still be a viable, you know what I'm saying, viable in this jungle, if you will.
Yeah. Word is born. One thing too, I've been kind of keen on is platitudes, right?
Mm,
And so I used to hear them a lot, right? I used to hear like, "Men, be on your purpose," right? And I
yeah.
understand what we mean when we say it. However, the men that we talking to don't. They don't have a purpose. They haven't identified it, right? They don't really even have a path. So when we tell them that, it's like telling somebody who never worked out to go to the gym,
Yeah.
right? That's why they join Planet Fitness and eat pizza on Tuesdays, right? Because they be on the machines backward because they really don't know what that means, you know?
Mhm.
I used to coach high school football, and I told the kids, I don't care about winning no football games if y'all not good men. But if I have a
Mm,
bunch of good young men, we'll win football games by proxy, you know? So what do these men look like before they even get to a purpose? What are they working on, right? That they can identify that needs to be improved on. Is it weight? Is it money? Is it laziness? Is it cleanliness? Right? Those things they can identify as bad.
mhm.
They start fixing that shit. Purpose will start to like almost like if you get knocked out, you come to and it start to get
Mhm.
unfoggy,
Mhm.
right? But there's so much shit they got to work on. The attributes ain't there for a purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So for the people watching, if you're just joining us, thank you for pulling up. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, um, follow us, subscribe, whatever.
Yeah.
Support the support the stream.
Mhm.
Um, if you look at the thumbnail, uh, you see a bunch of athletes,
Yep.
and the title on the thumbnail is Game Point. The
Mhm.
title of the stream is Ball Up Top. So I
Mhm.
want to I want to explain it real quick, and I want you to chime in as well, brother.
Yeah, talk your shit.
So you know what I'm saying. My little brother's 21,
Word.
and we have conversations from time to time, and he tries to explain some of the new slang to me, right? Like they call their girls their balls. You know what I'm saying? They call them fine shit, all that good stuff.
I just
I
heard
still
that.
don't understand fine shit,
Yeah,
but
I
you know what I'm
heard
saying?
that.
The ball thing I can understand, right? And then I've heard the term, ball up top, from a lot of like Instagram and TikTok creators saying, even after heartbreak, even after, what I'm saying, she does you dirty, what I'm saying, reset. As a
Yeah.
man, you need to reset, and you need to, attack the basket, proverbially speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, a lot of this is going to transition into the Steph Curry situation. A
Uh-huh.
lot of the dysfunction we see as far as like the city boys losing points in this public discourse, it tends to be athletes for some reason. Shannon Sharp, Zion Williamson, Steph Curry. Who else did I have on that thumbnail? Travis Hunter. Uh, uh, what do you think? Because I did a case study about this, but what do you think is behind the fact that a lot of athletes, a lot of these, even PJ Tucker, a lot of these athletes are aligning themselves with toxic women
Mm-hmm.
and trying to essentially, like we talk about turning a hoe into a housewife. I don't know if there's any other group of men who does that more than athletes. Why do you think that is?
So, well, Bible verse says a godless man will get a godless wife.
Mm,
So when we look at on his face, pause, right? We don't know
mm,
all the inner workings, but what we know is we see poor behavior from her, which we can readily identify.
Mm.
You know, we don't. The men aren't saying too much; they just getting played. You know what I mean? And they got a spotlight. But I would argue they are just on the mountaintop because they have the spotlight. But if you come to the nearest hood, right, the nearest college, the nearest area where men and women dating, niggas is complaining, niggas is getting their feelings hurt. You know what I mean? He moping around the house. He wears slippers. He don't got a haircut. His dog just died. But we just see Zion in them. But I don't really think they outliers, right? Because they just got money. They still the same dude they've been before, right? They know that they can dribble a basketball. That's why they got access. Men we ain't delusional like that. We actually know why she like me, right? So don't play me like she hit you with a honey bun. You know that was gonna happen anyway, right? You can't keep up with Brittany Renner. You ain't been alive long enough, cowboy. Right? So when he get his boo smoke, we like duh. Right? Travis Hunter get his to be TBD, right? On that subject. I don't know all the inner workings, but if let's say she play him and divorce him, we saying, right? Because I'm 39. Come on, Stevie Wonder could see that was about to happen.
Facts.
But they got their noses wide open, Alan. This is the first girl they ever loved. She just 40 and he 20.
Yeah.
But we be sitting on our mantle, right? This $200 chair, like, y'all niggas is wilding, but you was niggas.
It's true.
You was there before, So when we
true.
see them, they just got the spotlight. You know what I mean? But most men gonna fall for it because the vagina is the most important, and most men gonna get played by them women that's on that screen.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
I got no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. That was done.
No, I got three. I got three ideas. I got three theories,
and
I think it's men in general, but then it gets more specific to athletes. Kind of like we talk about all the time. Men have been taught, or boys are taught, what to be for women, but not what to expect from women. So that's just baseline, just across the board. A lot of men. That's why the extent of our standards is she look good, and she makes me look good. That's the extent of our standards.
That's it.
But there's no expectation of how she's supposed to handle you, talk to you. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's number one. I think number two.
That's a fact.
We talk about. It's sad, bro. It's sad. We talk about people pleasers, and I brought this up probably 2-3 weeks ago on my stream with James. We talk about people pleasers, and I think a lot of times when we think about people pleasers, we think about women. We think about those women who can't say no. We don't consider the fact that a lot of the challenge of masculinity, I believe, is constantly feeling the need to validate your existence. Men don't think we're supposed to just exist. We think we're supposed to be doing some shit. We think we're supposed to be building some shit. We think we're supposed to be fighting for some shit, protecting some shit, etc. So on a very deep level, I think a lot of men, we look for women to validate our existence. I have something that needs me. I have something that I'm providing for. I have something I have to protect. And then when you are an athlete, when you are, somebody who is, a high level physical, physicality is how you make your living. I think it amplifies that even further.
Oh, sure.
And then you consider the fact, and it's counterintuitive because, a lot of us, we think, athletes get all the hoes, etc. Especially back in the day, athletes did get all the hoes. But like today, high level athletes don't go to class.
No.
High level athletes live in a bubble.
Yeah.
High level athletes are damn near homeschooled. They go to from practice, they go to the private session with their trainer, to the private session with the therapist, with the private session, this. So a lot of them, unfortunately, never get an opportunity to actually interact with real women on a real basis, because even in the times where they're interacting with real women, he's Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
So she's not going to be a woman right now. She's going to be a groupie.
Yeah.
So your mind thinks that, this is what women are. You never actually get behind the curtain and figure out the inner working, because it's either thrown at you or it's set up for you.
Yeah.
So then You fast forward, you know what I'm saying? You get an NBA contract, you get an NFL contract, all those three things that I talked about. Of course, you're going to end up with a former stripper. Of course, you're going to, because she knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
She knows exactly how to be she's basically, I think she sets it up like a feminine coach who likes you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're looking for that affirmation. We're looking for that confirmation that I'm great, I'm this, I'm that. And it's all a setup, it's all a ploy to get behind your curtain. And you don't have the defense mechanism because you didn't develop that muscle.
Yeah.
You got the other ones, but you didn't develop the muscles of discernment
Yeah.
because you were as good as your coach said you were.
Mm-hmm.
You were as valuable as the colleges said you were. So you have no sense of self.
Yeah.
So you have this other woman this other person who's beautiful, and you know you're a man, so you're naturally attracted to that. But like she knows how to validate you immediately, and you have no skill in vetting if that's genuine, if the other attributes that comes along with her are stuff that you can handle, because you think you can handle everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we see, even with this Steph Curry situation we're going to talk about, we see this happening over and over and over again.
No, that is a great take on that. I'm just thinking, right? In school, we went to the same cafeteria, right?
Yep.
We had a meal plan there specific for football players and etc. Right? We stayed in a football dorm, right? Football players hang together. When football players go out, it's 60 of us, right? Nobody bothers the football players, right? So it's like a insulation, you know.
It's a bubble.
And then the women that they come to tutor, they don't look like they don't look like Belrog. Right, like it all makes sense, right? And this was back in 04. So you know you get little stipends when you go on trips, right? They give you your clothes, you in a hotel, and so it's very systematic what you do, all your approaches, right?
Yeah.
And your validation is always good job, bad job, right? You think you did a good job. One time I made a hell of a play, blew up the fullback and made the tackle for a loss, right? But I thought my coach said that's bad, and I'm like, God damn. And the other linebacker is like, he's like, no, nigga. He said not bad. Like you know, for him that meant good, right? But I've been playing football my whole life, and I know that's a good play.
Yeah,
anywhere in the football universe, right? But when coach said, I thought he said that's bad.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
and then he's like, no, he said not bad. I'm like, oh, but so to your point, like instantly I felt better. And instantly I felt worse. That's real shit though.
Your entire idea of yourself was contingent upon another person's validation.
Coach White.
And you know, and that's, I think that's something we're gonna have to like come to terms with, because and I argue with women about this all the time, because they say, you know, women have evolved. Why haven't men evolved? And it's like, yo, for millennia, since the beginning of time, we have been groomed to build a world for you guys and protect you from the dangers of said world. And you want us overnight to like undo that instinct? And you have no real like knowledge of what it took for us to become who we are. You have no concern about like the delicate process is going to take for us to become something different. But you just want it because and it's unfortunate, because like a lot of that instinct that we're talking about, the people pleasing instinct, the fact that, you know, we're innately warriors, whatever the case may be, it has a lot of utility in a world that's hostile, in a world that's, you know, chaotic. But in a world like this, where it's not necessarily overtly hostile, it's not overtly chaotic, I don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? Men are an afterthought, toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of this stuff we're seeing, a lot of the tug of war is a product of like us being in this moment in history where we have to redefine this job that we've had for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Mm-hmm. Damn, see that hurts my feelings. You know, because I just damn, like, but the world is you can get that off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there's times where like you could not get that off.
Right.
You know, but you can get that off. I don't need a man. I got this, that, and the third. But what we actually see is the people who aren't joined together are failing. overwhelmingly, right? So these are emphatically not true, right?
Yeah.
It's not a hot large percentage of it. Like I was looking up a stats before. I think it was like 30% of us have bachelor's degrees,
Mhm.
right? So the enrollments that were bragged about don't mean graduation, right? So we on this kick, and so we're not actually doing great,
Yeah.
right? But we have a couple people at brunch, so we think everybody stunting. You know, here's the thing that kills me. This is what I say. And my brother, my OGs, Omar, he say, don't listen to women. I agree.
Mm.
Because we also say this in the same breath, Alan. They only got rules and standards for the men they don't want. Remember that?
That's a fact.
Fuck you listen to her for then.
That's a fact.
If you know she ain't treating Tyrone like that, move around. Because you already said she only got standards for the men she don't want.
Mm.
Right? Now, doesn't mean like my wife, right? I say, babe, what you think about this? That's not what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Right? When she start getting in her feelings and complaining about shit, you know what I mean? That type of stuff, telling me, oh, we need to make this adjustment. Okay. Right? I
Yeah.
take things with a grain of salt, but I discern, okay, I need her input or she need to be listened to at this point. Right? But she ain't controlling no traffic. But I love her. But men too busy being a thermometer, bro, and not the thermostat. Like crazy, bro.
No, that's that. It, you know, is I think the challenge though, right? Is
Mhm.
you know, as critical as we are of men, and you know, women a lot of times they say, you know, y'all are supposed to be the leaders, etc. I
Mhm.
think in our community in particular, we have to acknowledge the fact that you know most boys are raised by women. So
Yeah.
like these shitty niggas that women love to complain about are the product of women. They're not the product of men.
Mhm.
They had no adversity to go through. They had no rite of passage that said they are males, but they're not necessarily men. And I think what makes it even more complex is because men are so because we're innately like woman pleasers, we're trying to like we're trying to constantly like shift and bend ourselves to the feelings, the ever changing feelings of women. And unfortunately, it's not until later in your life that you even get that game that nah, women say what they feel, not what they mean.
Yeah.
And what she'll allow or permit for man A, she won't allow and permit for man B. But again, a lot of us, because we're not hearing this from our mothers. Our mothers are like, you know, buy her flowers, and they're grooming us to be niggas they wouldn't fuck. That's the and society, especially now with the feminism movement, they are grooming men that they wouldn't want to mate with.
Mm.
And I think nobody brings this up because we're so busy trying to like dismantle and break down the negative aspects of masculinity. And there have been a lot of negative aspects of masculinity. But I think what was happening is we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's
Yeah.
like men are violent. Well, now they've got half the testosterone as their grandfather. So they're not as violent as their grandfathers,
Yeah.
but they're also not as this, not as protective, not
Yeah.
as providing, you know, all that good. So you have to have a sophisticated mindset and idea of these things that you're asking us to be and the cost,
Yeah. The,
you know.
the overall full assessment is not
Yeah.
done, right?
Yeah.
Even on that point about the men being raised by women, right? The
Mm.
other obvious point is the women aren't being raised by men either,
Yep.
right? They're
Yep.
also only being raised by women. Here's one thing I always said: a woman don't know how to love herself if a man don't love her first.
Woo.
There's so many things she can't identify. She don't know
Yeah.
what it's supposed to look like, feel like. She don't know what real protection is,
Yeah.
right? You know, she don't know how a man's supposed to present, right? She don't know what a Superman look like walking around her house. I got 5 daughters, bro. I could bring
Sheesh.
all of them down here. I got 2 sets of twins, just for
Okay, guy. I was like,
yeah,
who did
yeah.
you hurt? who,
I
did, who did
can't
you
miss,
hurt,
baby.
man? God damn.
Yeah, I can't miss. So
Mhm.
they come down here. They don't think nobody's stronger than me.
Mm.
Right? Nobody. They don't even like. And my oldest daughter's 16. You can't tell her that. You know. Not to mention, I'm strong as a motherfucker. Like, just you know. But just
Yeah.
like you know, saying that there's a insulation, right? A
Mm.
real just how they view the world. And these women are coming out of these same households as the soft men are, as we are.
Yeah.
But we don't acknowledge that side when we're looking at poor behavior, not knowing how to conduct yourself, and etc.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. And I think, when you zoom out past the American lens too,
Yeah.
I think what America affords the average person, man and woman, is you never actually have to confront the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? You might be broke, but you got credit. You know what I'm saying? You might be ugly, but you got makeup.
Mm-hmm.
You might not have any friends, but you got social media,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's so many, and it ironically, it's similar to maternal love that tries to insulate you from the world.
Yeah.
We have so uh, maternalized the world, and especially in an American context, that people don't understand the reality of like the world. Women are choosing bears over men because they don't understand what a bear is.
Yeah.
People are making jokes about war. They're making like they don't even have an instinct to want to help somebody. They just bystanders if somebody's getting assaulted. Because
Oh, yeah.
again, we've created a world that makes it so you don't have to interact with the realities of the world.
Yeah. No, I think that's 100% spot on. The reality isn't real. It's all about perception, right?
Yep.
Most people perceive it as safe, therefore it is, right?
Yep.
And it's very difficult to prove otherwise based on the camera systems, right? The Patriot Act, based on the amount of police, based on the phones, you can find your location, right?
Yep.
People think, okay, I'm insulated now. I have these things, right? I can venture by myself, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing I say, it's all good until it ain't.
Right.
We can go out at night when we want. It's safe until it ain't,
Until it ain't.
right?
Until it ain't.
you know,
It's real.
like, and
It's
I
real.
just, yeah, it's totally glossed over, bro. Like
Yeah.
people, we just out of shape, especially us. We out of shape as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we don't got no money. We got Klarna, not even credit, right?
Right.
Yo, one thing I noticed, just doing sales, I'll have a price tag. It'd be 10 grand to move somebody from, let's say, Florida to Houston, right? Pack them up, everything. They're like, man, that's a lot. So you know what I can do? Your move is in a month, so I'll bill you 6 times at whatever that breakdown is, $2,000. Oh, really? Because they don't really, the price isn't it. It's just, can they afford it at that time?
Losing. Right.
A nigga will buy a car that's worth $1 million, Alan, if they payments for $200 a month,
Yeah.
right? They don't care
Yeah.
about the end as long as they can
Yeah.
afford it.
Don't care about the interest rate, nothing. Yep.
That's it. It's $200. I'm good money,
Yeah.
right? Because the
Yeah.
perception is I got it, and then I can be perceived a particular way, and I could justify it.
Facts. I mean, I think it goes back to we are over mothered and under fathered. Like it's that paternal energy. It's that masculine energy that comes in and says, "Hold up, what's the interest rate?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? What's the catch?"
yeah,
Because unfortunately, like I said, we created a world that made us obsolete.
damn.
You know what I'm saying? And it's paradoxical because like what else were we supposed to do? Like we want our kids to be safe, we want our families to be safe. But it's like that that quote, I don't know if you've heard it. It goes strong men create good times, good times create weak men create hard times create strong men. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And
Perpetual.
unfortunately, it feels like that's the cycle
Yeah,
of like human evolution. And we're at the weak men creating good times part right now. And I think we might see you know what I'm saying, but then there's also technology, AI, the maternal crisis. Women aren't having babies anymore. What's happening in Japan? So who knows how that's gonna play out?
yo, that well, Japan is old as hell. Italy is old, right?
Yeah.
But you got me with the. I was stuck. I was listening, but I was stuck when you said we created a world that make us obsolete.
It made us obsolete. Yeah.
Yo, real shit, bro.
Mhm.
I was having a conversation with my wife. I'm like, what if somebody break in the house, right? We just talking about like my podcast. She like, when does that ever happen? She corny. When does that ever happen and all that? You know what I mean? You just call the police. You know what I mean? It just like you don't even understand. Like you don't even see like But nah, you're right. They saying men don't do hard jobs anymore. Like it just everything is leveraged against us. We don't care if he's handy. We could call
Yeah,
AAA and
yeah,
and then we play into this shit. Like you're right, we can't call AAA. Like,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
guess it's for everybody, but our characteristics are less important now.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Damn.
And I think part of the male crisis. We talk about the male loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
We talk about like men deleting themselves. I think the part people kind of gloss over. I read this stat. It said that uh, men tend to men tend to die within like 5 to 10 years of retirement, and that's consistent with early retirement, late retirement, and it got me thinking about like going back to what I said about masculinity has always been about justifying your existence,
Mm-hmm.
right? To the village, whatever. If you were born during, the Spartan era, if you weren't a viable male, you were thrown over the cliff, right?
Yeah.
So, what does that do to your mindset? If you are a viable male, I have to make sure they continue to think this, or I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you get to this point in history where uh, everything can be outsourced.
Yeah.
Everything isn't necessarily you're not a. And I hate when women say this so much. They be like, I don't need a man, I want a man. And I tell them, you don't know how that collectively breaks the spirit of men, because our entire inner wiring is about being necessary.
Yeah.
Our entire inner wiring, our entire psyche, y'all want to be loved, y'all want to feel safe. Our entire mentality is about being necessary. So we talk about the loneliness epidemic, we blow it all this because niggas ain't shit, and that's why nobody wants to fuck with them. No, part of it is a lot of these dudes are kind of withdrawing from society and becoming recluse because society has no place for them. Society has no purpose for them.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about that at all. We just say, oh, as men, y'all created this patriarchy. You need to solve your problems. It's like, man,
Yeah.
it should be getting
Yo,
sad.
it's real shit. Like the thing, right? If we were to define things accurately, Alan, which most things are colloquial when we had these conversations, is most men are beta, right?
Yeah,
But it's an instant insult because things have just been used right provocatively. You know what that simply means is that man functions, does his job, makes sure the world wakes up and goes to sleep every day, right? He gonna be kind to his kids, kind to his wife, kind to his neighbors, right? He not gonna be overt. He not gonna be this atypical, a personality type that's leading and pushing. No, he gonna do his job. If you break in his house, he gonna do his best to make sure you don't make it out of there. But he ain't bothering nobody. You know what I'm saying, right?
yeah,
He shop at Kroger. He don't go to Whole Foods unless he's trying to get a steak because it's Sunday, right? Most men just function and getting it done, right?
yeah,
But you can't even use the terminology accurately because of the perversion and what everybody think they want,
yeah.
right? Most women don't want a man who's atypical
Mhm.
in terms of the attitude, right? Because there's narcissistic traits that come with that. They like it until it's time to deal with it.
Man, listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
They don't
yeah,
want you to work 100 hours a week, right? But that's
yeah,
what comes with that. And then finally, right? I used to say this shit too. I could order DoorDash. I can get a maid to come clean up. I can get it right, shitting on what the women bring to the table. The truth is, I want my wife to cook though. I like when she fold my clothes. You see, we've
Mm.
been devaluing shit on both ends because we try to have a fight. You know,
Yeah.
so my wife, her, she had Pilates, so she ain't gonna hear this.
Yeah.
But cooking, and nobody in the chat better tell her. Yo, she
I'm gonna
cooked.
make this private after the stream.
But
Yeah.
yo, she cooked Monday through Thursday, right?
Yeah.
We get pizza on Fridays, right? It's easy. You know what I'm saying? She'll cook on Saturday, Saturday or Sunday, one of those days, but we might go out to eat or something like that. You know what I mean? Just to mitigate it, right? But I appreciate every burnt morsel on my plate. You heard?
Yeah.
Every single overcooked piece of chicken, I appreciate it. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? All
Yeah.
the crunchy rice, because he tried to make yellow rice with the beans. Shit be crunchy as hell, but I eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we just lost that appreciation for the simple shit. You know?
That's a fact. I want to go back to a point you just made. I thought it was fantastic. And I think it really ties into the topic of today's stream. The game is the game. One of my favorite quotes, I heard it on Batman, The Dark Knight. It was one of the Dark Knight movies.
That's the one with Bane?
Yeah. No, the one I heard it on was with Two-Face. Two-Face.
Two-Face, all right.
He said, die a hero or you'll live long enough to become the villain. Die a hero or you'll live long enough to become a villain. And I bring that up because to the point you just made, and I don't think this is talked about enough. Part of what helps you become successful as a person in society throughout time, like we talk about 48 Laws of Power, The Prince, is you have to be callous in the right ways. And to your point, when you really study history, even people that we thought of as, leaders, as benevolent, they were narcissists.
Yeah.
I can sit here as somebody who admires the hell out of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a narcissist. But again, I think because we're so overmothered as a culture, we want this ideal of benevolence. We want this ideal of like this what do they call it? They call it grass-eating lions. We want grass-eating lions. And I think that's what's happening now. The way that men have to be to guarantee the survival of their people, their children, their women is not accommodated today. Yeah. Right? Like we talk about, the testosterone rate is falling. I think some of that has to do with microplastics, but I think a lot of it also has to do with nurture. There is no need for high testosterone men anymore. Yeah. There is no incentive to be a high testosterone man. You're not being naturally selected for being a high testosterone man. They like the aesthetic of a high testosterone man, but there's no accommodation in our culture, in our communities for high testosterone men. So what it leads to is low testosterone men. And what that leads to is depression. That leads to is suicidality, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So even in our lack of service to the world, we're still kind of serving the world. We're self-destructing to make space.
Now,
we don't feel like we're supposed to take up space.
So let me ask you, now, is this in the context of the women or the world just in general? Or are you saying two?
Both.
Both?
Both.
See, here's the thing, right? I agree 1000% the world thing, right? I think women do appreciate the aesthetic, right? They say, and this is why I say stop listening to them.
Yeah.
They say the brawn and all that don't matter. And then in the next breath, they'll say money can't unlame a lame. Right? They say so many things that contradict each other. One thing I know that is still imperative that a man in his house got to open the pickle jar without a towel. Right? Or without banging the shit out of the top with a spoon. You know how it go.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's still things that, what's the thing? Like aphrodisiac is, I don't even know if that's a word, right? But about the brawn, the muscle, the brain, right? The fortitude, the ability to do so, that I think that biologically they have an attraction to. They be talking that shit.
Yeah.
But then they'll say something in the next breath that contradicts it.
I think that's what's tough, because I think I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of like I don't remember who said this, but they said Lois Lane wanted Superman. She didn't want Clark Kent, but then she wanted Superman to act like Clark Kent. So I think what's also overlooked
That's true.
A lot of women are addicted to the process of emasculating a man. So like you see the movies. You see the movies, when you get to prison, you're supposed to find the biggest, baddest dude, and you're supposed to knock him out.
Yeah.
I think women have started, not even started. I think maybe it's like let me call it the Delilah gene. Maybe there is something in women, and I'm even hearing women talk about this,
Hmm.
that wants to create friction to constantly test your masculinity, test your fortitude.
Shit
And
test.
and again, exactly. And again, we are pleasers, so we compromise ourselves to please her, not understanding that matter of fact, the book Way of the Superior Man is a good book, but I disagree with most of it.
Okay.
And the reason I disagree with it is it says that your measure as a man is heavily reliant or contingent upon the type of woman that you can handle. So, like for instance, there's a analogy the book brings up, and it says, a man and a woman are driving down the road, and they both are aroused, and they pull over to do the deed, and the woman looks at the man and she says, "Make sure you don't finish in me." He's like, "Cool," and then they start going at it. They start going at it. And then she looked at him again while they're going at it. It was like, "Yo, just finishing me. I want to feel it." And then he like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then right after, she's mad at him. And the book says, as a man, you're supposed to stand on your first word, which I understand. But like this process and it has other analogies like that in the book. But the process is basically, if you're a man, you're gonna seek out and handle the most difficult woman you could find.
Hmm.
And regardless of her word, regardless of her mood swings, regardless of whatever, you're gonna stand on your square. And I think that's part of the point you're getting at, where like, what I'm saying, you're supposed to be a man regardless. But when you compare the reality of like men are people pleasers, men are woman pleasers, men are not taught what to expect from women,
Yeah.
it's really hard for boys to
Yeah.
navigate that, man.
Yeah. They don't we don't have the proper discernment, right? We don't actually know what we're looking for, to your point.
Yeah.
I think so. For me, my lens is largely biblical, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, right, there's 613 commandments, right, that I submit to along with the Most High, right? And so now I have a baseline that can be referenced, in which case that holds me accountable. And to be honest, it makes it easier for me to identify the square,
Mm.
right? Because the rules and guidelines are right there, right? Let's say a person's an atheist, right? But you can look at the rules and guidelines and say, I'm going to stand on this, implement these things, and follow them to a T, right? Now, when she come to you with these shit tests, not only does she know you have a square, she can go refer to it too.
Mm.
But the men, when we say we on our square, if they ask us what square, we wouldn't be able to articulate it.
Mm.
And I think that that's what gets us in trouble.
That's a good point.
You know,
That's a good point. Yeah, I think to your point, I think that's why, um, number one, we don't understand that like they are wired to challenge us,
yeah,
and you could view it as like a nuisance, or you could view it as like a sharpening of the sword. But like I view it as like women are naturally chaotic. Women are naturally chaos,
baseline.
and chaos is necessary for creation.
Hmm.
And unchecked chaos causes more chaos.
Yeah,
But when it's balanced with masculinity, I look at it like a river and a riverbed, right? The
mhm.
the 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 water in the river is chaotic, is all over the place, but the bed kind of guides its path.
Yeah,
And when there is no bed, it's just a sea, it's just an ocean of I can do anything, I could go anywhere, and people think about that as freedom, but that's debilitating.
yeah,
And I think that's what's happening with kids today. They are born into oceans and they're
yeah,
lost and they
yeah,
drown
yeah,
because there's no rigid guidance of this is where you're supposed to go. This is what you're supposed to do. This is a code of conduct you're supposed to conduct yourself based on. And I think that just kind of builds on itself.
Yeah, 100%. Right. It's monuments of nothingness.
Yeah.
Right. The tools are incompetent. Right. So what people think they doing, they not doing correctly. You know, like I own a moving company. We build furniture. Right. And people they would have tried it right before we got there, because they called us and say, hey, you guys move XYZ, do you guys disassemble? Yes, yeah, we do. We get there, they done tried it, right?
Yeah.
But they have no clue what's happening. I'd rather them just leave the shit in the box. Oh, I got it started for you. No, you didn't. Right. I gotta take this apart because these the wrong screws that go right. You know, but people just be assuming, right, because they have a level of instruction, but they don't understand the instruction or understand it to even get it going in the first place.
That's just fact.
Hell yeah, 100%.
Listen, we got to jump into these videos, man. I got a few lined up. This one, I'm not gonna add any context until afterwards, and I want to watch your reaction when you see this.
All
right.
Mama, the only bike that I holler at. Dollars on your skin tone, pretty and enough to wear Vicky, Gucci and Gabbana, and you love to work.
That's her. Yo, that's her. Yo, that's her right there.
That's what it looked like, man.
How you do anything is how you do everything. No wonder. Put her in the bathroom. Yo, come on, man. Come on, man.
So,
come on, man. Not the doctor, bro. That's her. That's definitely her. It gotta be.
So 2 weeks ago, I did a stream about Sadia Khan. When the tapes came out of her, talking to some dude's husband. I mean, some lady's husband.
What she was doing? What she look like?
She's the
She white?
Nah, she's from Dubai. She's like Middle Eastern. If I'm gonna pull up a picture, you'll know.
All right.
But basically, everything ain't what it seems. Here she go, right here.
I might have seen it.
Her right here.
I did. Somebody sent me that. Okay. And she was messing with a married dude or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And she like a dating coach, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So so we were talking about like the whole thing about a lot of these female dating coaches are scammers. A lot of these people who put themselves as like advisors. I mean, we didn't see what happened with Derek Jackson. We've seen what happened with even tonight's conversation we brought up earlier when me and you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors, unfortunately. And to our point earlier, what sells is not the real. What sells is not the grounded truths that paternal energy prioritizes. What sells is the illusion. And I think what's really important is I think a lot of times we're critical of women because we think that they embody these things like exclusively and they have a monopoly on being delusional. A lot of us do too.
Damn.
And Sadia Khan and her rise to fame is an example of that. Just Pearl is an example that I can name a bunch of what's her name? Six the Goddess was a stripper. You know what I'm saying? I can name a bunch of people, but again, because we just care about what shit looks like, what shit sound like. She's saying the things I want to hear. She's tap dancing to the music I like. That's what I'm gonna support. And unfortunately, we end up supporting them heavier than we support men actually doing real work to help boys, to help men, to put them on game. We're talking about game tonight. We got 60 viewers. If Sadia Khan was on here, if Diane Bryant was on here, it would be more than 60 viewers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a testament to the fact that, you know, as a society in general, we can critique women all day, but the men are broken too. The men like the have drank the Kool-Aid as well. The men like the illusion as well. And that's a problem, especially for us as men.
Yeah, we placate, right?
Yeah.
Then the biological imperative excuse, right, also means that we acquiesce to things we shouldn't acquiesce to, right?
Yep.
So we say, hey, it's a biological imperative, therefore we don't have any real control over our desires, right?
Mm.
But you let everything slide because of it, right? It doesn't even align with Maslow's hierarchy, right? Because the first thing is self-preservation.
Yeah.
But if you allow your sexual desires to throw all that shit to the window, like Cardi B setting niggas up in hotel rooms because of their biological imperative, it supersedes the self-preservation. That shit is corny, right? Not even stupid, right? Because stupid is just like, duh, right? No, this is corny to keep saying that and then be expecting something different.
Yeah.
You know, but nah, real rap, man. It happens. So I DJ. So there was a trend. It was the DJ, and then it was party promoters, right? That's where everybody comes to the club. And then it was get the celebrity, you know, low level celebrity. And then it transitioned to female DJs. Cause she could encompass the promoter aspect, right? And also the beauty aspect. And niggas would flock. And they be Snoop Dogg shit, Alan. DJ terribly, right? But they would flood the club, you know, because men placate to the bullshit. They'll tell us she nice even when she ain't. And it was cancerous, you know, to the industry. So 100%, bro. You just brought up those examples, but they've been permeating in the earth for sure.
Man, listen, I was watching an interview. It's another podcast called We Need to Talk, but she interviews celebrities. And she was interviewing Sexy Red. And she said, I forgot what the question was, but she said the biggest thing that surprised her is that 80% of her fan base is men. When she looked at the analytics of her music, 80% is men.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I get annoyed.
Sexy Red, you said?
Sexy Red. A lot of times I get annoyed when I see, especially like some of the deep red pill content, you know, even Fresh and Fit, who, you know, I have deep issues with the way they approach things. They said straight up, they will bring a woman to eviscerate and to, you know, make her look stupid, etc. And her OnlyFans would shoot up the next day.
Yeah.
So a lot of this shit, the dudes be talking, women ain't shit, these 304s, this and that. We are the problem. We are the ones incentivizing this behavior.
Yeah.
We are the ones who pay for them, literally and figuratively. We are the ones who are supporting their behavior. Like we talk about how women, single women keep women single and women create echo chambers of support. But we don't talk about the fact that us as men incentivize there's always going to be a cleanup guy. She got 14 niggas in her friend zone. She got a food dude who's going to keep her fed, another dude who's going to keep her bills. In addition to credit and Klarna and everything else we talk about that maintains the illusion, we are the biggest maintainers of the illusion that keeps women delusional, and we're not even willing to admit that.
Yo, it doesn't, and I just don't understand why we don't just acknowledge it, right? That's the first rule in AA, right? These chicks will create pages, Alan. They say, "Oh, my page got canceled at 200,000 subscribers." You ever see that?
Yeah.
And then they had a new page for an hour, and they already got 40,000 subscribers just because she could shake her ass decently. Okay, hold on, I'm on with Uncle Alan. right? At least back in when we was dancing, she had to actually be able to dance at the dance hall.
Yeah.
Now these chicks shake half a ass cheek and they getting double tapped and DM'd and comments and right. We always say we try to tell them, Alan, that sex don't have no value because a nigga will fuck a lamppost if a vagina's on it, right? But they don't believe you,
Yeah.
beloved,
Yeah.
right? Because all they keep saying is everything they getting, right? Because they still got access, they still got niggas placating, they still got niggas pandering, while
Yeah.
being while being a slore.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
dopamine. Dopamine is value. Like it don't make sense. Like
I think what's gonna happen though. I think what's gonna happen is I think a lot of the dudes who I never understood OnlyFans because there's a lot of free porn sites. I never understood it. But I think what's gonna happen, especially with like AI, a lot of these dudes, they don't necessarily think they're ever gonna meet this woman. They don't necessarily think they're ever gonna have sex with this woman. They just want the illusion of female companionship. And I think once AI does it well enough, and we're seeing kind of it going in that direction, where it can create the girl who's shaking her ass that you're seeing on Instagram, and she can text you as well, and she can FaceTime you. When it gets to that point, and she can send you nudes, she can give you the whole virtual girlfriend experience. When it gets to that point, the real organic women are gonna be obsolete, and that's what I've been telling women. It's like, yo, enjoy this tricking now because you're gonna be out of a job very soon. But they're not thinking that far because it's just about the ego stroke and all that good stuff. Not understanding that these men view them as commodities, and a commodity can be replaced and will be replaced.
toothpaste.
Man,
Alan,
Man.
bro, I seen somebody showed me something. They said, yo, Ham, this is AI. You know, it got like 100,000 followers. I said, you said that's like one, I didn't even know it was AI, but two, the fact that they knew and people were still following the page is diabolical, bro. Because all they care about is what it looked like and and if they could get off or not. Because like you said, they turn the computer off, they go play Fortnite, right? That's what's happening, right? People just want the instant gratification without the hard work. Boom, I go back to doing what I needed to do.
Yep.
That's man, we so short sighted with the AI thing, right? It's already robbed resume writers. It already robbed flyer people, right? Like those people out of business damn near now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, consultants and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Because you can put in, give me a PowerPoint. I literally put my website in. I said, I put the website in, give me a PowerPoint. It gave me an eight slide PowerPoint off the talking points on the website. Like
I think
mm.
I think what's the most sad to me, and I think this is what we're gonna have to kind of come to terms with as a species. I think, you know, like back in the day, relationships weren't perfect, but I feel like people's appetite for perfection wasn't what it is today. The woman knew that the really masculine guy is gonna come with some issues. She knew the real popular guy was gonna come, and then she had to decide: is that popularity, is that masculinity at the top of my priority list, or something else at the top? I want a godly man. That's gonna come with some challenges too.
Yeah.
But I think as technology has improved, as society has become more individualistic, everybody wants a bespoke, tailored experience with everything. First, it was clothes. Then it was, your MySpace page. You could turn it into whatever you want to turn it into. Now, I think it's people. And I think part of the loneliness epidemic on both sides is your perfect person does not exist. But now we don't have an appetite. We don't have the capacity to tolerate anything outside of what we think serves us.
That is fine, yo. That's
like when you look at Japan right now.
Mm-hmm.
They already have AI boyfriends and girlfriends.
Or
They are is a dude in Japan who just married his AI girlfriend. It was a documentary I was watching of multiple women. This is what blew my mind. Women who had AI boyfriends they were showing it off on their app. Because again, I think what we have to come to terms with is, do we actually like each other, or do we simply like what each other does for us? And now, if we can outsource the physical stuff, like you mentioned, like the cooking and cleaning, and now AI can supplement the emotional stuff by telling us we're beautiful, by agreeing with us, by even elaborating on the bullshit we think.
yeah,
Because even our social media does that. Everybody's algorithm is tailored to what they like.
yeah,
Everybody's algorithm is tailored to what version of the truth they want to hear and see.
yeah,
So now I write an AI boyfriend who simply just regurgitating shit you want to hear. You get that box checked off. You can outsource the sex part to your sex machine. You
yeah,
can outsource the mechanic part to the mechanic down the street. We don't need each other. And I
yeah.
think we're really gonna have to come to terms with, like, yo, as men, do we like women, or simply the ways that they serve us? And as women, do we like men, or simply the ways they serve us?
Yo, that. Mm.
It's gonna be sad, man.
That is. You're right. I mean, we've already had the conversation overwhelmingly about things being transactional, right?
Yep.
Right. Relationships are transactional, and we seemingly accept it, but not to this extent, right? Because everybody, to your earlier point, in the last soliloquy, everybody wasn't as replaceable. The access was more minimal, right? It was much more about proximity, right?
Yeah.
And then comparison is the thief of joy. So now you have that into it. You know what I mean? And they can see so many different people practicing religion, right? Just on that point you made. There was chicks saying, I want a godly man, but not an Israelite though. They do too much. What, he know the Bible front to back? Dummy. Right? Like when does that end? Like, you know what I'm
I want
saying?
my version. I want my
Yeah,
version of
yeah,
Godly
yeah, yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Oh, not one of them. Nah,
Yeah.
he followed too many commandments. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about? Right?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
would literally be the epiphany of a thing. But you want to tailor it to what you deem palatable, right? And that's the first one of the first steps of destruction, right? If everything is subjectively how I need it to be. You can't,
Bro,
yo,
you gotta
bro.
watch. You gotta watch Her. It was.
Yo, I was just thinking of that.
You
I
seen
never
it? You
watched.
seen it?
Nah, hell,
Oh,
I look, which I like Joaquin Phoenix, right?
yeah. Yo, Joaquin. Yeah.
Yeah, Joaquin.
Yeah.
His acting is incredible, but I just could not get into it, and I
Watch
was
it.
here.
Watch it. When you watch it, all this shit I'm talking, it's gonna make
Yeah.
sense, man.
Damn,
And
son.
I thought, because I watched it for the first time maybe like 2 months ago,
Uh-huh.
and I thought, it's probably a couple years away.
Yeah.
I've been playing with Gemini. I've been
Mhm.
playing with DeepSeek. I've been playing with ChatGPT.
Okay.
It's here now. This is
Now.
not hyperbole. Like, it, you can write, and especially now that ChatGPT allows you to create like agents, you
Yeah.
can write an agent to be your perfect boyfriend. And again, if all I'm looking for is emotional validation,
Yeah.
if all I'm looking for is agreement, if all I'm looking for is ease and no friction,
Yeah.
that's perfect for me.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Because I don't know if you've seen The Matrix, but like the dude who betrayed the team because he wanted to go back into the Matrix and eat a steak.
Yeah.
Your brain don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Your brain
See,
don't know the difference.
that's key. That's key. That's key. That see, people don't know that, right? That's like even like muscle memory,
Yeah,
instincts, right?
yeah.
So I got a boxing tournament in February, right?
Mhm.
And literally right now, right? Because we just preparing, we about to start fight camp. If somebody were to throw a right hook to my body, Alan, I'm gonna throw 4 punches automatically,
Mm.
right? Because to me, that is here now, right?
Mhm.
And so it's just trained consistent over and over and over, like you said, and you still get the same response time, the same feeling.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah. Shit's gonna get weird, man.
I'm scared.
But
Yo,
anyway,
damn.
let
We
me
ain't
pull
play a
up.
video yet.
Man, I'm telling you, man, we just be rolling. Let me play. This video is actually on your story.
Uh-huh.
It's about the Ayesha Curry situation, but I think it helps further get us down this path.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and pull this up.
Didn't say anything wrong. A lot of women get married and pregnant in their early 20s before they actually know themselves and before they know what they actually want to do with their lives. A lot of it is because of the societal pressures that's placed on women. You can't wait until your 30s or 40s because then you'll be too old. And in your 20s, you shouldn't be worried about a career or your education or starting a business because then you might run the risk of losing an opportunity to be somebody's wife and have somebody's baby. And that's the stupidest shit that was taught to us. Focusing on yourself, let alone building a career while you're taking care of kids and uplifting your husband is extremely difficult and sometimes unsatisfying. And as a woman, you are not allowed to say that without facing a whole bunch of shame. But I don't give a shit about shame. If you let what society says run your life, it will run you into the ground. Women are not allowed to talk about the realities of being a wife and a mother, especially a mother. When I made a video talking about what motherhood really was, so many people, especially women, were mad in my comments. Well, I don't feel that way. My children gave me purpose. Without them, I wouldn't even have a reason to be here. Well, that's your purpose. One person's purpose might be another person's personal hell, Rebecca. Thank you for sharing. Ayesha Curry is the result of a woman that followed the natural progression of things. You're supposed to meet a man and have a baby immediately. And that's why people were so mad at her when she said, women should cover up. Women should cover up, like we were all taught. And then she said, well, maybe a bikini isn't so bad. And maybe it's fun to have a fat ass. Might be. You won't know unless you try it, Ayesha. Women are mad at Ayesha because she's living their dream life. You found a rich man that takes care of you and you don't have to do anything but sit on your ass all day. You should just be happy. But she didn't say that she wasn't happy. She's expressing the differences between reality and expectations. Everybody wants a rich man. Diddy's rich. You want to go over there? You want to play in baby oil basements? And are mad at her because Ayesha breaks the illusion of women will just be happy and satisfied with me if I have money. They'll just be happy to be in my presence. But that's not true. These same men finally get money, but then they're confused when they don't feel loved by the women that they chose. And you can't tell them the reality of the situation, which is that woman doesn't really love you. She's with you for your money. Like you might have been chasing a fantasy built off your expectations, so you chose a baddie and ended up a saddy daddy. You ended up a saddy daddy. More and more women are coming out and being honest about their experiences. I'm happy being a wife and a mother, but this is harder than I expected. I thought I would be more satisfied. I thought this would give me a purpose. But then I found out that I still have to find myself, still have to get to know myself and give myself purpose. So if you want to wipe 10 asses or shake ass in 10 different cities, both are equally acceptable, and women are allowed to choose whatever path they want to choose at whatever age and stage of life they're in. Be as difficult as you can today. Ayesha didn't say anything wrong. A lot of
All right, brother. So you were the one who put this on your story. So I'm gonna let
watch
you.
the whole thing. That was my first time seeing the whole shit.
Oh, really? Okay, so you just saw that first 15.
Yo, somebody sent it to me, right? And Instagram got some new shit. So I think I hit, because when you said it was on my story, I'm like, where? Because I don't know if I was trying to send it to myself, but I hit the button and it went on the story. I think it's like a new repost, retweet.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, I heard like probably the first 20 seconds or so.
Yeah.
But it's projection one.
Okay.
Right. So if she was talking about motherhood, I would assume she has a kid without a husband. Right. So now people want to justify their actions. Right. Because most of us judge everybody else off their actions. We judge ourselves off of our intentions. Right. So now, one, we heard projection just based on that. Right. Justifying behavior, justifying an outcome. Right. She also said a lot and sometimes. Those two phrases mean nothing. That's the irony about them. So sometimes the women aren't happy. So that means sometimes the women are happy. So now we still at square zero. Right. A lot of times the women are told to have a kid at 20. Right. But a lot of times they're not. So it doesn't resonate to me. All right. Go to the bathroom, Bubba. You know, so I just looking at that and all right, go. So it threw me off. Right. Now, another thing, when you said analyze the information, we know that teen pregnancy is down tremendously, right?
Yeah.
We know that the average time a kid is being born is like 26, I think, is when black women specifically have their first kid. You know, so we even know that this is almost past college age, right? So what is she talking about? What I would ask is, when did she have her first kid? What were the outcomes, right? Was she taught a thing and told a thing, she didn't manifest it, right? So now she's justifying other unbecoming behaviors, right? That's what I hear and see, right? I don't understand if she's saying everything's okay, right? She said you can wear a bikini or you can do this, except for Alan. Every time she talked about being a wife and all that, she had a snarky, facetious attitude, right? So if you're gonna be fair, right, to the women that want to be married and the women that don't, if that was your goal, right? But the truth is, she the bikini wearing, right, BBL having, right? That's her lane because she failed at the first part. That's my synopsis.
Cool. Shit. I mean, what struck me is like, and not just in this video, because I've seen her in other videos as well. I don't know if like this is a character she's playing or she's genuinely just like this weird, quirky person, right? And you know, we also have to kind of acknowledge a lot of like undiagnosed autism, especially amongst our women in our community, right? So a lot of like what we call quirky or what we call unique is really just like autism. and we don't, as a community, we don't like that crazy street nigga you know about. Now he's autistic. That's why he's like that, right? That girl who's kind of off a little bit, she's autistic. So we need to, as a community, we need to start calling a spade instead of glamorizing like weird shit.
Yeah. We remember we used the term eccentric, right? That's our word, right?
Nah, you off. That's what it
just
is.
on the spectrum, right? Keep it tall. You know, go ahead. This is quick.
Yeah,
because this is the perfect. And this is like something kind of off subject, but she is not appealing. She is not attractive, but she's pretty. Right? Like I don't see her like, oh, I would talk to her. No. But she's a beautiful woman. Like, you just look at her aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
But she's not attractive. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
it makes sense to me, but explain it to the people. It's
like, like you can see her, right? She beautiful. If you look at her Instagram, she seemed to be in shape, right? You know, she has like the body positive, you know, the things that we look for, right?
Yeah.
But I would not kick it to her. I would not approach her, right? I'm not gravitating towards her in like a sexual or romantic way. But I can see that she's a pretty woman, right? But I'm not attracted to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've seen people like that. Like, she's pretty, but she's not attractive.
Yeah. I've been sounding the alarm on that, especially for men. Because I remember when I started making that transition, because I feel like as young men, we're not as picky. And for us, like when I was 18, for instance, if she's attractive, then I'm attracted. That was it. If she looked good, I want her. Yeah. But I think as you grow, as you mature, as you get some of them and you realize the juice ain't worth the squeeze, I think that's at the point where, as a man, you start making those distinctions. Does her breath stink? What's in her brain? How does she move? How does she groom herself? How does she articulate herself? Like the quirkiness we're talking about, you know, and how does she dress? Does she have style? You know what I'm saying? What kind of mother would she be? Would I be proud if my daughter turned out to be like her?
Yeah.
I feel like that's where a lot of men, we don't get to. And I'm guilty of this as well. Would I be proud if my daughter ended up like, would I feel like a success as a man and as a father if my daughter turned out like her? And if the answer is no, your pee-pee shouldn't be nowhere near. But again, we don't get to that point as men.
Nah, it take a long time to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then they'll say this, right? Just to keep it tall. So I have a like aesthetically, I'm like a 4, right? But I got a lot of upgraded like attributes, right? That can upgrade me and shit, you know? Then I got stereotypical shit. I play football, I'm a Q, shit like that, right?
Mm.
So how convenient of me to start talking about dick discipline and the attributes that should matter at 35. I done ran the you know, I done run
Yeah.
amok. So now, of course, it's easy to me to say, yo,
Yeah.
but yo, you gotta look for the So I want to make sure I acknowledge that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
real. That's real. That's real.
But the truth is still the truth, though.
Yeah.
The fact that we have low standards gets us into these conundrums or binds that we complain about.
Yeah.
You know? So I just want to say that, like, you know, because they be like,
I-
Alan played football. Shut up,
Yeah.
Alan. Shut up, man. You play.
Yeah.
All right, nigga. Well, it's still true, though. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be real though. Like in the defense of the men, like
Mm,
I feel like, and you could disagree with me.
go
I
ahead.
feel like you have to experience it. You have to experience that disappointment. You have to experience that when you get the girl you wanted or you get the baddie, you have to experience the
all that.
disappointment of like there's nothing else there. Because we talk about, women are romantic. Men are the real romantics because we make up all kinds of bullshit in our minds about how she is, how she smell, how she talk, just based on how she look. And unfortunately, like me and you could sit here and regurgitate, that nah, look at this, look at that. But I feel like because I remember when it happened for me early. Until you really get that disappointment of like, nah, this bitch really ain't shit. She just like, I'm not even gonna say she's pretty. She's just genetically gifted. She don't even know how to take care of the genetics that she was gifted.
Oh, damn, son.
She just genetically. Let's keep it a beat. Like a lot of this stuff that we put so much, and women do this too with like height and stuff like that. These aren't attributes these people work for. You won the genetic lottery. Your daddy was tall. Your mom was tall. One of them had a jawline. One of them had some big titties, and that's why I think you're a good person.
That. Yeah. Yo, real shit though. Yo, I swear, you have something to talk about and she don't got nothing to talk about, be the worst, bro.
Listen.
She can't identify nothing. She can't help you with anything. Like anybody who got a wife, one thing I was pushing back on, and I understand it's hyperbolic, but the sex silence sandwich. You heard that before?
Yeah.
And I was pushed back, and I understand it's just trying to illustrate the point, right? But things get lost in translation, especially extremes, right? Because people often dismiss outliers, right? So when you use the hyperbole to illustrate the point, I have to agree just the same vehemently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The woman that you tied yourself to, that you hooked your wagon to, gotta be able to carry some shit. Ain't no way she got wooden wheels on the wagon. It don't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
She has to be an asset. She has to be utility. She has to be able to be applied, you know? But like you said, we don't know no better. Nobody taught us. She an airhead, but she got a good, like you said, she is genetically gifted.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realize when we in a pile of piss and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying?
No,
She a liability, right? So 100% I agree, man.
But I feel like what I'm afraid of, and this is based on like a lot of conversations I've been having with women, even based on what the lady was talking about in the video. I think part of the transition we're going through as a species and as a society in particular, I think we're moving away from ownership and we're going towards rental, going towards leasing. Like right now in 2025, you can make a powerful argument. It is wiser, more financially feasible to rent than to purchase a home. In the career world, you can make a very strong argument. It is better to job hop every 2 to 3 years than stay somewhere forever.
Indeed.
You can make a very strong argument. It's better to lease a car than to buy one. You can make a very strong argument. You should take the Uber. You should, live 2 months here in an Airbnb, live the next 2 months in Spain, live the next 2 months in Dubai. I think that's the transition we're making as a society. I'm curious about how that's going to affect our relationships, because what we're seeing is, and she brought it up during the video, that's the reality we're going to have to wrestle with. Women are no longer aspiring to be wives and mothers. Women are no longer finding fulfillment in bringing up life, in being a man's helpmate, in all the things that traditionally they found fulfillment in. Even now, they're looking back at that and saying, "Oh, those women weren't fulfilled. Those women were unhappy, whatever the case may be." So now, if that's the case, if I'm not looking for forever, I'm just looking for the time being. I don't want kids. She don't want kids. All the stuff we talking about don't even matter no more.
Yo, but this, I think here's the thing, right? I'm saying I believe. Now, usually I stay away from that because believe has doubt in it, right? I usually say I know, right? But I believe that you may be right. It's almost like I hope that I'm right in my next statement.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope
Yeah.
I'm wrong. That's the thing about it.
I hope you're wrong,
Yeah.
and I hope I'm right. I think they lying when they saying that shit. I think it's all about the projection aspect that we saw in that video. Because my results don't mirror it, I'm going to tout my results as what the goal should be. You know? And so I think that that's what we're hearing a lot, right? And I've seen it with women anecdotally, right? I don't need a man. I don't want a man, right? My friends come in the room. These is $100,000 earners, 6 foot brown. You know what I mean? Whole 9 yards. Now she love a man. Now she can't be without a man, you know? And I've seen women, I DJ weddings too. I've seen so many women talk that shit. 2 years later, Hamp, I'm getting married. Can you do? I thought you just said. But they talking that shit, Alan, because they don't have those results at that point. And so they're justifying where they are in life, right? Because of their feelings. Like you said, they articulating their feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when the right dude come along, now all that white picket fence, doggy, roses and bubbles, all that shit come back to fruition because that's what they wanted as little girls. But I hope I'm right, but I believe you might be right.
Listen, I really, really want to be wrong, but this is what I think. To piggyback off what you're saying, I think, you know, when I was talking about like rental versus ownership, I think what's more powerful now than ever before is the hedonic treadmill, hedonic adaptation, right? How human beings, and this isn't just true for women, the brain, the human psyche always wants to find equilibrium. So an example of that, an emotional equilibrium, more specifically, an example of that is one of my homeboys. He got a Mercedes GT, and he was telling me about you know, when he first got the car, man, he was hyped, man. God damn, this shit 2-seater, you know what I'm saying, whipping around the city. But also he lives in Baltimore, so like he talks about like hitting them potholes and the repair costs and this and that. And after that first like 2-3 months where it's a new car, it's just a Mercedes with the Mercedes bills, with the Mercedes costs, with the Mercedes difficulties, with niggas trying to rob you, with you becoming a target. He said it wasn't until like one day one of his homeboys asked him if he could drive the car around the block.
Yeah.
When his homeboy drove the car, he was like, ah, damn, that shit fire. Like, it wasn't until his homeboy drove the car that he remembered the initial feeling of getting that Mercedes. And I say that to say, I think back in the day, people knew that if you got something, you were getting it for an extended period of time. So you kind of budgeted repair costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the hedonic treadmill wasn't as vicious because your access to getting other things wasn't necessarily what it is today.
Yeah.
But today, I believe a lot of women, using women as an example, because we do this too, I believe a lot of women want weddings but not marriages. I believe a lot of women want that 6 foot, 6-figure bro to walk in the room. She
Mhm.
wants him to make her look good to her friends. She don't necessarily want to build a life with him. She might want him for the night, for the month, for the excitement of the trips he's gonna take her on, or the um, restaurants they're gonna go to, or the cute pictures they're gonna take.
Yeah.
But again, kind of like I don't know if you remember the video of girl from Brown Sugar. She's married to Boris Kojo. She said, "What's her name? Green Eyes."
Can't remember.
But she was kind of like Aisha Curry in a way. She said, I miss when we were dating." They're in love with the process, not the product. As a
Mm.
species, we're in love now with the process, not the product. A lot of women are optimizing themselves to be expert daters, not expert wives. A lot of men as well, and this is some of my critique of the manosphere. Kind of like you talked about how it's about get money, this, and that. Yes, that's gonna help you get women, looks, max, all that good stuff. It's not gonna help you keep them.
Yeah.
It's not gonna help you get the ones worth keeping.
Yeah.
But again, we're in love with just life right now is a video game that I just want to play over and over again with a different character, a different skin. You know what I'm saying? Different difficulty.
Yeah.
Because I'm in love with the repetition. I'm not in love with the reality of it.
Yeah. Nah, damn, I think you're right. They in love with the wedding. Like, I think they in love with the wedding, right?
I don't like her. I like how she make me look. I don't really like him. I like the way he makes me look. I like the fact that he validate. I got to check off that box that I created for myself when I was 5 years old. But that's
Yeah.
all it ever was. It was an aesthetic. I
Mm.
didn't want to be a wife. I just wanted to have a wedding.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. Damn. And with that, you don't need the standards, right? Because it's superficial.
It's superficial.
It's surface, and both people are catering to the superficial nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you go back to the men about outside validation.
Yeah.
Let's say his father married, his grandfather married, right? Now there's an expectation heaped on him, right?
Yeah.
And he wants to uphold that standard, right? Right? Validating the men that came before him, right?
Mm-hmm.
By finding a wife and getting married and all that too, right? So it's twofold, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's very little investment in the people in that relationship as opposed to everything outside of it and who can see it.
The look. Yeah.
God damn.
And the thing is, the reason why I really hope I'm wrong, and I really hope I'm wrong, but like
Take a drink, man. This is bullshit.
we niggas joke all the time like your grandpa never saw this many bad bitches in his lifetime, but you open your phone and you just see all the bad bitches all over the world at all times. I think we are too exposed.
Yeah.
And I think as a species, we're not supposed to have this much choice. It's paradoxical because choice is freedom. We're not supposed to have this much choice. We're not supposed to have this much variety. But because we have this much choice and variety, whatever J. Cole say, love yours. It is harder now than ever before to love yours.
Real shit.
Because if you got a Toyota, you're gonna see the Mercedes, you're gonna see the Lexuses, you're gonna see the shit that hasn't even dropped in China.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even if you actually like your Toyota, like it's hard.
It's hard, bro. You can't even be proud of yourself.
Hey,
You know, like you like we do this shit, right? You climb in subscriber count, boom, right? You hit this goal, 5,000, 10,000, right? Then you look, nigga got 100,000. Or you look, the nigga got 50, yeah. Dude got 15,000, but every time he drop a video, he get 20,000 views. You know what I mean? It's always something favoring, how you feeling, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I say this shit, right? And this I might have to change it. It's called, I always say it's called self-esteem, not we esteem. But it might actually be we esteem.
Yeah.
Like it might at this day and age, to your point. Now I'm listening to you, it might actually be we esteem. The people around me also got to feel good about my accomplishments for me to feel good about it. God damn, man.
Yo, but it's one of those things, man. It's like I said earlier, we created a world that made us obsolete. Part of the
Yeah.
challenge, part of the bargain of advancement is like it comes with challenges. You know what I'm saying? If you make the world safer, it comes with matter of fact. I don't know if you've heard about Universe 25.
Uh-uh.
It was an experiment conducted in 1980, 1970, something like that, by this doctor's name was John B. Calhoun.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what he did was he created habitats for mice. So he had done a bunch of experiments, but this particular one is the one that was like famous. He called it Universe 25. In this habitat, he started with like four pairs of male and female mice,
Okay.
the best genetic mice that he could find. And
Uh-huh.
he put them in this large habitat, unlimited food, no predators, unlimited shelter.
Uh-huh.
It started off great. They procreated, they had babies, etc. But then over time, over the next 2 years, the population hit a plateau. But what was weird was he found that despite the fact that this habitat was so large and vast,
Yeah.
the mice only congregated in certain areas, cities.
Yeah.
Despite that there was food, plentiful food, and no predators, the mice turned on each other and started attacking each other. What they also found was the female mice became hostile towards their young, sometimes killing their young, sometimes forgetting about their young, and the young, young mice are like relying on their mothers for survival. And a lot of those young mice started dying, and then the females stopped having young altogether, which is a lot of what we're seeing about this. You don't need to be a mother, this, and that. And the females became aggressive, more aggressive than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we saw with the male mice, there was a group of male mice that were pseudo masculine, attacking everybody, taking the females when they were, in heat or whatever the case may be. But then you had a group of male mice who they called the beautiful ones that secluded themselves and just groomed all day. They didn't participate in society. They just secluded themselves and groomed. That's why they were called the beautiful ones, because their fur was spotless in the whole nine. And they look at looks maxing. Look at all this jaw shit that niggas is talking about, niggas with the waves and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
I think obviously the experiment wasn't a 1-to-1 correlation.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, after 4 years, all the mice died. But I
Jeez.
think that's what's happening in our world because we believe utopia is actually the goal. We don't understand the challenges that come along with it. And we don't understand how it actually affects our psyche, how we evolve as men and how we evolve as women. We're seeing our women become more aggressive. We're seeing our women become less interested in nurturing and child rearing. We're seeing our men become softer. We're seeing our men more interested in look. Matter of fact, even during the experiment, they saw a proliferation of asexuality, but it started off with hypersexuality, and more specifically, some of the male mice started doing other male mice. There are a lot of man. You got to look into this, man. There are a lot of parallels
Shit.
that we're seeing in our world, and paradoxically, it's a consequence of the world, not of us domesticating the world to a degree.
Yeah.
We didn't realize that it would come with certain developmental
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah. The people, it beautifully illustrates the point that people think they want these things until they have them.
So they get them.
Right. And then when they get them, they don't know what to do with it. They can't control it. They can't handle it. Right. It's not all it's cracked up to be. So now it's the next thing and the next thing. Right. And
Yeah.
then people come insatiable because of all this access and so-called freedom. Right. And then they wonder why things are going awry. But we are part of the reason why. There was another study I was looking at. And I need to look. I'm looking that one up when we get off. But it was about they had mice as well. And so essentially they associated a smell with a shock. I forget what this almond. And so they would shock the mice and then associate the smell of almond at the same time, right? So then when the mice would smell the almond, they would have the same reaction as though they were being shocked or at the very least, they would cower, right?
Mm-hmm.
The mice that were born from those male mice that experienced the shock almond therapy also had the same reaction from the almond smell. Hence the epigenetic, conversation and things being passed down, right?
Yeah.
Those mice were being born with natural proclivities based on the experience, right?
Yep.
Being restless and etc. in both of these experiments, seemingly, right? And then it manifests poorly.
Yep.
Damn, that is.
It's and consider the fact that women are born with all the eggs they're gonna have, but we go through a menstrual cycle every a refresh every 4 days.
Yeah.
So environmental things that are happening, whether we're talking about the microplastics or whether we're talking about a society, a civilization that continues to demonize masculinity, what effect does that have on our chromosomal health and how that manifests in boys? We talk about these young boys being aggressive and sassy and all that good stuff. Like, maybe there's more to that story. Maybe it's a consequence of we've been telling men that they ain't shit. We've been telling men that they're inherently toxic for the past 2 decades.
Yeah.
What is that going to result in?
Yeah.
And I think, again, we don't think past our nose a lot of times with this stuff.
Nah, really, real shit. We don't make enough associations, right? We don't dig deep to understand that there's a lot of things that are passed down, right? We look at people's countenance, right? How they move, how they walk. Like, my oldest brother has a different father than we do, right? But my father raised him since he was, 4, 3, whatever, right? He even went so far as to told his father he couldn't come around, right?
Yeah.
My dad was in the Marines, he that type, right? You know what I'm saying? But you could not tell that he didn't grow up with his father. Like, I see his father in the city, same walk, same cadence. You know what I mean? How he talks, delivers information, right? Because that shit is passed down. Literally, his walk, like, he got a little like limp out, just how just like his biological father.
Yeah.
Never spend a day with the man, right? But we stop it at physical attributes, right? But what about this part though? Right? Why is a kid smart? Why is a kid dumb? Why does a kid have a affinity for such things? Right? Why does that kid have an adverse reaction, et cetera, et cetera? We always say, "Baby, this baby been here before." Why is that? No, 100%, man.
Right. And what I've been telling women, because I think unfortunately women have kind of literally and figuratively, when we look at the numbers, women have divorced themselves of men. Women believe that patriarchy, as an example, exists outside of them. Like, patriarchy is something that men created, and whatever the problems are, men need to fix. Even when we talk about things like the male loneliness epidemic, we don't talk about mothers. We don't talk about girlfriends and female friends. We talk about, it's a men problem, men need to fix it. But the reality is, like, a lot of, like I alluded to earlier, a lot of our purpose, which creates our disposition, which creates our actions as men, are directly correlated to women. Either our desire to please women, our desire to get women, our desire to, and when I say please women, I'm not even talking about sexual. I'm talking about our mothers. I'm talking about our sisters, our aunts, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of this dysfunction in masculinity that we see, women need to lean in as well and take ownership in the part that they play in the men that they see. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that's not happening because women think that this stuff operates outside of them, not realizing a lot of men are born with only women in their lives. And then they go to school and all their teachers are women. And then you have a culture that's pushing feminism and pushing pro-female perspectives on the world. And if you're a good man, it's insofar as your ability to empathize with women and prioritize women. How does that affect men? And how does that affect the women that come after those men? We don't think about those things.
No, we don't think. And here's the thing about it, right? They know it though, right? And here's how I know they know it is because they will take credit when he makes it to the NFL or the NBA, right? So they actually understand their impact, right? They just don't want to take the bad with the good, right? They want all the credit in the world, but when he fails, his father wasn't there. That's why,
Mm.
right? So, so they know it. They just ignoring that fact. We just got to say it out loud. This is a team effort,
Yeah.
right? This is a team effort. So if you want to take the credit, take the shame or whatever the proper word is for the downfall,
Yeah.
right? And we
Yeah.
could do a percentage thing, but nevertheless, don't exonerate yourself. That ain't
That's
how it
right.
works. You know what I'm
And
saying?
the thing that annoys me a lot, and I hear this all the time. In one breath,
Mhm.
the idea is that women are gods, goddesses.
Mhm.
Sister, mother, goddess, she's the divine feminine. And then on the other hand, women are just the reflection of the man that they're with. I don't know how both those things can coexist. Because if you're gonna say behind every good man, I mean every great man, there's a great woman behind him.
Yeah.
You must also say behind every ain't shit man, there's an ain't shit woman behind him.
You got to.
Right? Because
You gotta
because
say it all.
if women are simply reflections, they're not magical. Women are supposed to be amplifiers. He
Yeah,
was good before he met her, and she brought something out of him to make him great.
indeed.
But again, we're not having these conversations because I think our society placates to women and allows them to sit in their delusion, and they're all just goddesses in waiting. You know, I'm not a wife because a man hasn't brought wifeliness out of me. I'm not feminine because a man hasn't brought femininity out of me. As opposed to the reality that you're supposed to be a wife before you meet a husband. You're
Yeah,
supposed to be a woman before you meet a man.
yeah.
And if you're simply just an effect of a cause, you're like everything else in nature. You're an animal basically,
That's it, right? If you
and
only
nobody's
react,
bringing this up.
yeah. If you're only reactionary, right?
Yep.
Like you need a catalyst for all things, right?
Yep.
I mean that's a low life form, you know. And I don't like I don't want them. I don't even want to think that we
Nah.
think that they are that, right? You know what I'm saying? They are much more than that. We have much higher expectations. We just gotta ask for more shit,
Yeah.
you know, and understand that we need all of it, everything from you, so I can reach the proper plateau, right? You should be a catalyst for me. You should be an inspiration, but that's gonna entail you to work your ass off also, you know. And we just been letting them off the hook, right? By having low standards for ourselves, Alan.
Yeah.
If she pretty and her breath don't stink, right? We good money, right? She could fake that. She could fake. If I'm only asking for two things, she could fake two things.
Mm,
You can't fake 10 things.
that's right.
But they've been able to get this shit off. You know what I'm
Let me
saying?
let me ask you this. Let me ask you because we talked about how men don't really have standards, and because of that, I think we get got a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is every woman, you know that song? I'm every woman. It's all in me. Is all in every woman, or do you
What?
think some women got it and some women don't?
What? Like being a
That-
wife?
that- Whether we're talking about being a wife, being that goddess, everything that women accept like the praise for. Do you think every woman comes with that? Or do you think the reality is some women got it and some women don't?
Yeah. So I would say, based on my synopsis, or based on my how you say, if I'm looking in the earth now, I would say the minority.
Mm.
I would say the minority have it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at as and you see it, right? And so when I'm talking, Alan, just to be clear, I'm talking about black women, right? 'Cause that's really what I
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
right,
don't know
and
nothing
I'm
about white
looking,
women.
and now it's subject to change, right? But just
Yeah.
what I'm looking at, right? And I'm seeing the marriage rates trend oppositely. So men are getting married more, the women's marriage rates are staying stagnant, right? And we continue to see the unbecoming behavior, right? Acknowledging that we have uh enabled this poor behavior, right? But it's here now, right? And they have to own it, right? Because they are conducting themselves in such a way. So I'm looking and thinking, based on the landscape, that it is the minority. I'm seeing way more asses out than hijabs. You heard?
Mm.
So I can only assume, right, based on my speculation, that it's the minority that are ready to do all those things necessary to be a wife and, you know, a good quote unquote woman.
Do you think they have the talent though? Because I say that because I don't think we assume men are good people. I think men have to prove and show.
Yeah.
But I think baseline we assume women are good people, and it's like if she do some shit that isn't good, it's because she was put in a bad situation. It's because the man wasn't shit, and that's why. Do you feel like women, just baseline factory setting, all have that goddess in them?
So, secularly speaking, I can't give them that crown.
Mm.
Biblically speaking, they do, per the
Mm.
Bible, pursuant to Psalms 82:6, right? So I know that to be true about our women, right? And I still say our, even though niggas like, nigga, you could, I'm talking about what I'm talking about,
Black women,
you know? And nurture definitely matters for them, but it's just so difficult to see. The other thing is, it's okay that it's the minority of them, right? It's always the minority of everything that's doing the right thing, right? Most of the time, it's the minority doing the right thing. So I expect it to be the minority of them that are ready to do it. Now, when you talk about the gifts, attributes, I think they're there. I hope that they're there. You know, but it's hard to see them through so much of the poor behavior.
Mm.
Honestly, you know.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of good women, right? So I'm not saying that, but in terms of the bulk, I think it's the minority that we can count on.
Yeah. That's what I've been trying to work out for myself, because we're told if she ain't good to you, it's because you weren't good enough, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to she might not have it.
Yeah, she
I
just
think it's clear with us. Like some dudes ain't got it.
yeah,
It is what it is.
and we take it. You know what I'm
We
saying?
take it. You know what I'm
Like-
saying? We go back in the lab. We improve on the parts that we do have, or we have maybe some talent in. But I think that the idea is that every woman has it already, and
You
if
know-
she don't bring it out, it's because you don't deserve it.
Yeah, that shit is corny. I hate when they start talking that he didn't. I wasn't. I was afraid to be feminine with him, and I didn't want to do. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Like, in my masculine.
yeah, it just and then. But you know what it is, Alan? We got to go back to the drawing board. It's a nigga that's gonna jump out the bushes.
That's true.
Yeah, beloved, you're right. You he wasn't man enough. Right? Just so he could get the draws and all that. And she don't care to know the difference. All she know is that he like her, and he justifying her behavior.
Yeah. We the problem, man. We the problem. I mean, listen, I'm to the point now, man. We the problem. We the problem. And unfortunately, we can talk all that shit we want to talk as men who are trying to put other men on game, but at the end of the day, like,
Yeah,
if we're not willing to like have standards and take a stand and say, okay, this is the type of femininity that is going to be rewarded, and this is the type that isn't.
mm-hmm.
There's no incentive for them to change, man.
There's no incentive, bro. No incentive, man.
Let me play this last video, man, and
Go ahead.
we're gonna close this thing out, man. We're at the two hour mark. I
Word.
ain't built like y'all, man. I'm not. I can't do it. All right, let me play this real quick. It might give us some hope. It might give us some. I don't know.
All right.
Gen Z, these are adults under 30 years old. We thought we would ask a big picture question, what they think is most important to their personal definition of success. So we gave a whole bunch of different options here, and we asked folks in this poll, pick the three that you think are most important. The most commonly cited for Gen Z for success in life: to have a fulfilling job or career, to have the money to do the things you want to do. What was most surprising about this poll, though, was there were massive differences between how men and women in Gen Z answered, and there were huge differences politically. When you combine those two things, gender and politics in Gen Z, and you ask about what's important to success, they are worlds apart. Look at this. Men, Gen Z, men under 30 who voted for Donald Trump, what were they most likely to say makes for a successful life? having children. Number one, women, Gen Z, voted for Kamala Harris. Where's heaven? Wow. All the way down here at the bottom. Couldn't be more opposite. Second to last for women who voted for Harris was being married. Being married, look at this, near the top of the list for men who voted for Donald Trump. Another huge difference, a very common answer for Gen Z women who voted for Harris was having emotional stability. The Gen Z men who voted for Donald Trump, you got to go all the way to the bottom to find that one. These are some core basic questions about how people think about life. And you can see here, this rising generation in this country, very far apart. All right.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Now, I obviously I wish I like it. We can analyze that right there. What they showed us. I wish that they just had the men who voted for Harris.
Right.
Right. Just because we know, I think 80% of black men voted for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that would give us more of a microcosm into our,
yeah.
Just a look into it. But the fact that there is such a disparity, and was it 90% of black women voted for Kamala? Was it 90
something? Yeah,
96% or something like that?
Yeah.
I have to go back to my premise on the last segment. They capping. That's what I hope.
I hope they capping.
They capping. They just be talking. I think that they do see value in building a career and a life and traveling and etc. But when you ask them at the end, because I want them to think, what do you think is going to impact you most, the plaque or the portrait? And hopefully we can frame it so they can thoroughly understand, Kids are tough. Kids are hard, man, but it's nothing like it. And I'll even say this, the return on investment in terms of like what you get back from a kid tangibly is low as fuck. You got to be 80 before they got to wash your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
But that agape love, I hurt my foot. I was sparring. I stepped wrong, hurt my foot, right? Came home. I had some crutches. So me and my wife going to get dinner. She said, your son was upstairs crying. What he crying for? He was crying for like 5 minutes. I couldn't understand what he was saying. So she like, why are you crying, Chuck? Well, his name is Hampton also. He the fourth. But I call him Chugga Wugga. She said, what's wrong, Chuck? Daddy hurt. He just upstairs crying, right? Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing that I don't think, it's hard to articulate to people, but I think that is a lot of projection in what you see in them polls. Hopefully, right? Hopefully, man.
I mean, like I think it's two ways you can look at it. I think, and I think you could say men are becoming men again. I think it's unfortunate that it took a Donald Trump to coincide with this renaissance, if you will. You could look at it as like men and women are too far apart to like agree to be with each other because they want different things. Because as you saw on the poll, like men, these Gen Z is under 25. They want kids. That's their top priority. And Gen Z women, their top priority is emotional stability, and then career, and kids is like at the bottom of the. So those two groups of people can't want each other because they don't want the same things.
Yeah.
And I think it could go two ways. I think either it results in when men become leaders, we'll follow, like they've been telling us, right?
Yeah.
I hope that's what happens. Or it could just be, men go this way and women go that way.
Yo, I've seen this very anecdotally. Women take the prescriptions of their men overwhelmingly. So, like my sister-in-law is an example. Her husband smoked cigars, she smoked cigars. He drank whiskey, she drank whiskey. You know what I'm saying? And so I've seen that happen a lot. I like watching like niche sports like arm wrestling, but one of the best arm wrestlers, his wife be right there yelling, fussing, Bill Belichick wife, the young girl he got, be right there at the interviews, be on the sideline, right? They enthrall themselves in what their man is doing because it only props up both of them, So hopefully, and I'm saying hopefully, right? Because I have a doubt, and I think that you're right. Just things that you edifying me on, is that will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Where she assimilates, but men have to stop acquiescing.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not even saying don't compromise. I'm talking about you kowtowing and acquiescing, and when she get an attitude and you know what I mean, etc. You afraid to remove yourself, right? You let sex be the determining factor. You mad at her, but she don't gotta apologize because she just gotta give you some pussy. Right? Women don't apologize because all they gotta do is give you some cheeks. Right? Even that little thing, we could turn the tide.
Yeah.
You pushing a no, saying off. She instantly gonna check your phone. He must be doing something. Nah, you supposed to apologize and you didn't. Snaggle too. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like
Yeah.
Like, and so if they continue to manipulate us with their vaginas, right? When they're supposed to be assimilating to us, we're gonna continue to be at odds.
Yeah. Man, listen, brother, we gotta do a part 2 because I still got some more shit on the list. I just need to sleep. that's the only reason we're not gonna keep going. Any final thoughts, man? Anything you feel like you didn't get off?
Bro, man. Hey, listen, man. I had a ball, man. I love you. I'm proud of you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Love you too, brother.
We been, where you at? What you doing? Etc. For a year,
I'm telling you, man.
And the insight of what you've been providing is amazing for me, just thinking through it and seeing it, right?
Appreciate it.
But the last thing I say, stop listening to them. If you saying they only making rules for the men that they like, then when we talk about dating and courting, they don't got shit to say to you if she got all this structure for you, right? She already exposed herself because you already know she only got rules for the men she don't want, right? Yeah. So keep it tall, stand on your square, don't acquiesce. I think we'll be better off, both men and women alike.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. No, I would definitely echo that. And I think the main thing too is like, and it's something I had to kind of realize and learn for myself as well. You have to learn how to like yourself, right? Like I alluded to earlier, a lot of us don't like ourselves, and we like ourselves to the extent that other people like us. So even when we approach a woman, the first thought that we have is, does she like me? And we don't consider, do we like her? And a lot of times, like if we're keeping it real, like a lot of times we don't like her. We just like how she looked. We like her genetic blessings.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think is what sets us up for failure, because I also think like in women's defense, I think women can sense that as well. They can sense like, you know how niggas with money, like she ain't really here for me. She here for the money. I think women can sense that too. He ain't really here for me. He's just here for the pussy. And I think it kind of validates this posture that they've taken where like, well, if that's all I'm good for, I'm gonna stand on that, and that's all I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, so like we're like feeding each other's dysfunction, unfortunately.
Real shit.
Yeah, man. But appreciate you, brother, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate this conversation. Man, I feel smarter. I feel optimistic, weirdly enough. Like we unpacked a lot of like complex shit. So thank you again, man. We'll have to do this again for sure.
Word, son. I'm gonna hit you tomorrow. Get some sleep. Do the right thing. I love you, bro. I'm proud of you. I see you soon, man.
Yes, sir. Take it easy, brother.
Easy.
All right. All right. Appreciate you guys riding with us to the end. This was a fantastic conversation. Man, there's still some meat on the bone. So me and the brother will have to link up again. Y'all stay tuned for that. I haven't brought this up in a while, but I'm still working on the card game. If you guys have been here for a while, there's a card game coming. I've gotten further than I thought I would have gotten by now. So stay tuned. If you're interested in this mug, you've seen me sipping on this We Need to Talk mug. The link should be in the YouTube description. Click on that link. Support the stream. Thank you guys for everybody who sent the super chat. Thank you if you hit the like button. Thank you if you're subscribing for the first time. If you're viewing on Instagram, thank you. Facebook, thank you. Like I said, I'll try to do these more consistently. Again, big shout out to the brother DJ Dr. Hamp the Stamp. Check out his channel if you haven't already. It's linked in the description. It is This Might Be Risky. He's also tagged on the Instagram story, so follow him there as well. Again, thank you guys. Y'all have a good night. Have a good weekend, and I'll see y'all soon.